Hey guys, Ayo here, the founder of ReplySync, an Instagram DM automation tool that allows you to create, run, and sell your Instagram automations. It allows you to generate more leads from Instagram and connect your actual Instagram audience into actual loyal customers. So today in this video, I'll be showing you guys the first part of our tagline, create, run, and sell Instagram automations, which is the create part. So I will be showing you guys everything about automations and how to create one from scratch and how all the different automation steps work. So to create an automation, you firstly have to go over to your dashboard and click create automation. And then you have to name your automation, let's say testing, or let's say story, or no, let's just do a simple one, DM reply automation, right? You can choose from these different templates that we have, or you can click over here to go to our marketplace and grab a bunch of our different free templates as well. And after that, we are going to click create automation, and it will take us to the page of the automation that we have created. So first of all, let me show you the things at the top. The first one is the name of the automation, so you can rename it at any point over here. You can also see a button that says shows results. So basically what that does is when you activate it, it basically shows you the results that we have gotten from each step, how many users have opened the messages, how many users have read them, and how many users have either clicked or how many users have passed that step as well. And then you can see where it shows you the save status and the status of the automation itself. So if it's active or not. And automation needs to be active. I mean, that goes without saying. It needs to be active for it to run, right? But if it's active, you can't save it. So you need to, deactivate it first or pause it before saving the automation when you make changes. So another setting is run once only per contact. That allows you to, not run the automation twice when a contact does the same action 2 times. So if a contact has already gone through the automation, you do not want it to run on them again, then you can keep this on. And the second setting is basically it allows you to stop the automation when a contact when you reply in the message threads manually. So if you go over to your Instagram account and you reply to that person manually, it will actually automatically stop this automation. So the first thing that you want to set when you're creating an automation is the trigger. The trigger is the action that the customer on Instagram or the Instagram follower will take on your Instagram account that will put them into this workflow and start this automation with them. And for the triggers, we have a couple of different types of triggers. The first one I would like to show you is when someone sends you a DM, right? And the thing with triggers on ReplySync is that you can have more than one trigger for an automation. Actually, you can have multiple different triggers. But the first one I'll show you is when someone sends you a DM, and you can choose whether if it's any message or when that message contains very specific keywords. So if it's very specific keywords, you can enter the keywords here, click enter or click pause, or you can add other keywords as well. So now when someone sends you a DM containing these specific keywords, it'll put them into this automation and start it with them. For now, the automation does nothing because we don't have any steps inside it, but another type of trigger is when you send a DM to someone. Actually, it's similar to when someone sends a DM to you, but in some cases you want it to be when you send a DM to that person. So it's pretty much the same. I'll delete that. Or another one is when someone replies to your story. So when somebody replies to your story, it can be any reply at all or a reply that contains specific keywords as well. So let's say pizza there. And then another type of trigger is when somebody actually mentions you in a story. So when somebody mentions you and tags you in a story on Instagram, you can automatically do things like send them gifts or send them links to your products or things like that, and basically run this automation with them. Or when somebody comments on your post. So for the post, there are 2 settings that you might want to set. The first one is it allows you to choose exactly which posts you want people to be able to comment on that will trigger this automation. You can set it to either any post, which will work on every post, or you can choose a specific post. And when you choose that, it will ask you to select a post from your account. So it can be a reel or an actual post, right? And when you select that confirm selection, it will choose that as the post that they have to comment on before it triggers this automation with them, right? And then you can optionally include keywords. So you can say that, okay, only when the comment includes this keyword, pizza, that's when I actually want to respond to the comment or trigger this automation with that comment, right? You can't actually respond to the comment yet from ReplySync, but that's a feature coming in the future. And I'll delete that trigger because I don't want it in this automation. Another trigger is when someone is added to a list. So when a contact is added to a list, let's say activated audience, it will also trigger this automation, right? And we'll just quickly save that and see. Okay, that's good. We have three triggers right now. When somebody sends you a DM, when somebody sends a reply to your story containing this keyword, and when a contact is added to this list. So now to start off the automation, we would want to add a step. What a step is basically is an action to take to send someone a message or to like their message, or to basically it's an action in the automation. So I'll go over each step one by one. So it's going to be a very long video, but without further ado, we will get into it. The first type of step is a simple step, sending a message to someone, and you can type the message, hey there, how are you? Right. And it will send this message to the person. I just click save so I don't lose any of my changes. Another type is like last message received. So this will just automatically like that person's last message that they sent to you. And another step is to send a person a photo or a video. So you can choose the photo or video that you want to send them. You can also send them GIFs from here. GIFs work very well with Instagram, by the way. And this actually is just showing the number of people that have viewed that message, the number of people that are pending on that, like you're pending to send them that message. And this shows the number of people that, you know, you have completed this step for, so that you have sent this message to, right? But to not show that and to not distract us, I'll just toggle off the show results button and I'll save my options so I don't lose anything, because this is the web. And then I will also share a post or a reel, and that will be, let's say, one of my posts here. And this will actually send a post to the person. Actually, let me delete that because I don't want to do it now. I'll do it later. I'll save that. Another step that I will actually not be able to show because I'm already recording a video with the microphone. But this step actually allows you to send a pre-recorded audio message, right? So this works very well, and, you know, it can keep your audience engaged and make them more likely to buy stuff from you, especially if they feel like you're actually sending them like a personalized audio message. But yeah, I wouldn't be able to demo that because then I can't record an audio message live since I'm already using the microphone. Another type of step in the conversion category are things that, you know, the customer you send them to can interact with. So the first type is ask a question, right? So you can ask them a question, and when you ask them a question, hey, what's your favorite color? Right. As you can see, there's only one branch, right? If they haven't replied after, let's say 3 or let's say 10 minutes, right? Then it continues to the next step, right? But what you can also do is you can add multiple options, and you can see it creates multiple branches depending on what they respond with. So you can add options like red and blue, and then you can actually also save their reply to a property of that customer, right? Of that contact, which you can then export later as well. So by default, we have the email and the phone number properties, but you can create custom properties as well. And I'll show you how to do that later on in this tutorial series. So if they reply red, you can do one thing. If they reply blue, you can do another. If they haven't replied in 10 minutes, you can do another thing, and I'll save that currently. But if they reply red, let's say only if they reply red, do we want to send them a link? Right. So when you click send link, you can choose, okay, there is an issue with this. I'll save it. When you choose send a link as a step to send, so when you click that, it will show you the link that the customer will receive, right? So this is the link that we've already created before. You can create another link from here actually, but we've created this link before and I showed you guys how to create it in another video. So when you have a link step, it also has multiple branches. One of those branch is what happens. Firstly, okay, actually this branch is what happens regardless. So immediately it sends the link to the customer. This step happens immediately. So let's say we want to send a message to the customer that says, I just sent you, okay, the link, can't type today. So, okay. Yeah, so I just sent you the link that will send immediately they receive this link, right? And then we also want to have a message sent to them after 10 minutes to just follow up with them. Did you receive the link? So this will happen after 10 minutes and they haven't clicked the link, right? And if the link is clicked, let's say we want to send them a single question survey. I'll just save that as well. And with there are a few bugs, but a lot of them will definitely be fixed because we just launched a couple of days ago, but a lot of those bugs will be ironed out very soon. So continuing on, if the link is clicked, you want to send them a single question survey. You can see the list of the single question surveys and you can click it and it will show you that over here as well. And just something interesting, if I click show results, you can actually see on this link how many people have clicked the link on this step in this automation, right? And then also in a single question survey, you can see exactly how many % of the people have selected which answer basically in that single question survey. So I will click save. And then afterwards, let's say if they fill that survey out, I want to also send them a multi-question survey, which again, that's another bug. I have to save it and then refresh, but yeah, it's no big issue. We will fix that as soon as possible. Multi-question surveys allows you to choose a multi-question survey, which is basically a form, and it shows you how many questions are in the form. And also shows you how many people have responded to that form in this specific automation. So we will click save to not lose any work. And then when they fill out the survey, I will add another step. Let's say I add them to a list, right? I want to add them to a list. What this step does is it actually allows you to add to or remove a customer from a list. So if you click remove from list, they will be removed from a list if they already exist there. But if they don't exist, nothing will happen. But if you click add to list, it will automatically add them to this list of activated audience, right? And then the next step that I actually want to add is to update contact property, because I want to show you guys how that works. The update contact property works by you selecting a property of that contact. So this will only have the default contact properties by default, the email and the phone number, but you can create custom contact properties for your customer in your Instagram account basically, and you will see those appear here as well. And then you can choose the value to update them with, or you can choose a variable. A variable is basically a specific detail of that customer. So like their username, for example. So if depending on which Instagram customer you are interacting with at the moment, it'll actually go over to their Instagram page, grab their username, and replace it here with the username. So you can also do things like the message that triggered the automation, the comment that triggered it, the current date and time, right? So those are things that you can update the contact property with. I just wanted to show you guys how that works. I'm not really interested in having it here. Another step that I would like to show you guys is collect email address. So what this does is that it actually waits, right? So there are a few different steps of the automation that waits for a response. And one of them is the single question survey that actually waits for when someone fills out the survey. Another one is the form. So it actually waits for when someone fills out the form before it continues, or you can just choose to skip it after a certain period of time. Another one is actually link, right? So the link also waits. I mean, it executes this step immediately, so it branches off over here immediately, but it still waits to see if it's been clicked or not. And then you can also give it a timeout, basically. Another one that waits is actually the ask a question step. So when you ask a question to the Instagram customer, it actually waits for a response, right? So now let's continue. The collect email address step also waits. And what this step does is it automatically prompts the user, sending them a message telling them that, provide us with your email address in order to continue. And then when they give you their email address in a text, it automatically actually updates their contact property with that email address. So you will be able to export it as a CSV to your own CRM or anything you want to do with the information, basically. So you can click on save so we do not lose any work, and then I will show you the other steps. These are the logical steps. They simply just add this one is a time delay. It's very straightforward. It just adds a time delay, waits for that time, and then continues to the next step. Another one is to trigger another automation. So you can actually trigger another automation from an automation. So for this one, if I click here, I can trigger another automation actually. So it's going to trigger this other automation when it comes here on that contact only though. So I'll delete that because I'm not interested. And then you can also wait for response, right? So you can wait for response arbitrarily. You can just choose to wait for a response from the customer, and you can give it a timeout. So a number of days, hours, or minutes where it waits for that response from the customer. And you can choose to continue if they respond, right? But if they don't respond after a certain number of time, you can also choose to continue. You can click on add keyword, where it basically will look for if the response contains a specific keyword, right? And you can add multiple different keywords. So it will check if it contains one of these keywords, right? So if it contains any of these keywords, you can continue to this step. Otherwise, if it does not contain any of these keywords, you can continue to this step, right? And when you click add a step, another step I would like to show you guys is a condition. So a scenario condition is basically a condition that you can use to check if a contact is present in a list, or if their property, if a property of a contact is set to a specific value, right? So for this, we're just going to choose if they're present in a list, and we'll see if they're in our activated audience. So if the condition is true, you can continue to this step. If the condition is not true, you can continue to this step. So if they're not in that list, I want to send the message, you're not an engaged customer, with an angry emoji. You probably shouldn't do that. But if the condition is true, then let's say you want to, I'll just use that opportunity to show you guys the AI agent auto reply feature. So you can add an AI agent auto reply feature, and then you can give it an extra instruction for it to follow that's specific to this context. So I'd say something like, congratulate the user for being an engaged customer of us by writing them a short poem, right? And actually for testing, I usually do not like having this on. So I usually turn it off just so I can test multiple times with the same customer, right? With the same follower on Instagram. So I'll activate that automation, and this video has been really long, so I'll have to cut it off here, and we will probably continue in another video showing you guys how we will run the automation, how to run an automation manually, or how to, wait for somebody to actually trigger that automation. So thank you guys for watching this video, and I hope you have learned a lot about how ReplySync automation builder works. Thank you once again for watching the video, and have a great day.